Kia ora.
Another miserable day in Wellington, so we're all rugged up inside, hoping that at some stage during the school holidays the rain will ease. Hey, so for today, a quick update on the market. We've just come to the end of Q2 and the 2 months since lockdown. A lot of people asking about the market, so a quick summary. We have now sold in levels 3, 2 and 1, 15 houses since lockdown, and it's been consistent across the board. The stock levels are low. The inquiry is super high. Everything's selling for unpredictable prices and for multiple offers. So a couple of sales of note in the past 2 weeks. One a couple of weeks ago, 3 bedrooms in Paparangi. It was 112 square metres, lovely character home. That sold with 17 offers, first home level for that one. And then last week, 90 square metre 1980s house, 3 bedrooms again, 21 offers.
Yes, amazing.
It's amazing. It's kind of heartbreaking for buyers because these people are going and putting their absolute best foot, but the competition is just, you know,
it's tough. It is really tough. I think if you're out there buying, particularly in the first home bracket, it can be a bit soul destroying. But don't give up. You'll get there in the end. But yeah.
These kind of activity levels we haven't seen since 2016. For those people that are trying to time the market, what's the market doing? When should I sell? The time is now. We don't know what's coming, but we do know what's now, and the time to sell is now. So give us a call if you wanted to chat through your individual circumstances. But for the video this week, we're going to do it a little bit differently, a 3-part series, and this is for those looking to sell, how to sort the skill of the agent from the bravado. Now, I am very aware we're not the most liked bunch of people, and that probably...
Speak for yourself. Nice.
Okay, so I'm not the most liked. But anyway, when you're getting agents in, most people choose to interview 2 or 3 agents, and it's very difficult to compare. Everyone comes and tells you that they're the best and the biggest and the greatest, but having some good key questions to kind of uncover a little bit of the skill behind the bravado is going to really help you in that interview phase. So we'll do it in 3 parts. We'll cover a few off today, a few next week, and a few week after. And so by the time spring hits, you'll be well prepared to get the very best agent to sell your home. So we're going to start with how to understand your agent's knowledge of the market.
Yeah, I think it's really important. Like, how well does your market understand the actual market that they're in?
Your agent.
Yeah, of course. So inside, the market itself, there's different types of properties. There's a first home, family home, investment. There's different sectors. So sometimes when people talk about the market, it's like a whole, but there are these different parts to it. So how well does the agent know the particular market that you might be selling into? So if it's the first home, we've talked about a couple of first home properties, it's really busy, so they know that. If it's a family's making those transactional movements at that particular point in time. So really get to understand and ask the agent, how well do you know the market or the market that we'll be selling into?
But also if there's been any significant changes in the market, interest rates drops, LVR changes, how does that impact their sale at any given time?
Sure, there's outside influences. I mean, if you go back a few years when they brought in the LVR, that really had an impact on investment properties. So that's something to be aware of. But yeah, just having that deeper market knowledge, because as Amanda said, like, everyone's going to tell you they're the best. They know what to do, but really start to uncover, are they there? Do they really have that deep understanding?
And the difference between a buyer and a seller market would probably require a different approach. So one of the best questions you can ask to uncover an agent's knowledge is, how do you change your approach to suit differing markets? And maybe you could get them to give you an example of a method that they've used in the past and one that maybe they're using in the current market quite effectively.
Yeah, I think it's important to have a plan B. I mean, no one will really talk about it at the beginning because all the weight goes into plan A, but you should always think about, if we didn't quite have the success that we were after first time around, do I have another method, or can I do something to continue the interest into the property? Because you really have a smallish window, I guess, before the market starts to perceive that there might be something wrong with you. So you want to take, if it doesn't work, what do I do next to make sure that I can continue the interest into the property, and having a good plan B. And it's okay to talk about the plan B at the beginning.
Is that something you discuss with vendors up front?
Yeah, I always do. I say, there's no guarantee, but if we didn't, I've thought about what the next steps would be, and to make sure, because even if we have to change, I'm still picking that change so we can get the best out of the market. So I think it's really important to talk about what your next move would be if you had to do it.
So if your agent's coming in and they're pitching tender, auction, deadline, doesn't matter what it is, we all hope and assume that our property is going to sell at the deadline. But then if they haven't discussed their next step, perhaps asking your agent, what is our plan B if we don't get the result that we're after at the deadline? So knowing that going into the campaign will be a great thing. And so what we find really effective is running a no price marketing campaign up front and using that time to gather pricing feedback from the market. So we always discuss that with purchasers and feed that back to our vendors. So gathering all that market intel. So in the instance that a property hasn't sold at the tender, deadline, auction, we can then quickly switch to some form of pricing, like a buyer inquiry, like price by negotiation, or a priced, like a fixed price. And what we would want to base that on is all that great knowledge that we've bought. And so something that you could ask your agent is, how do you gather pricing feedback? How is it reported to me? And if they say, you'll be given a report, asking for a sample of the report could be a great insight into their processes and their practices. Every week, for example, if you were listing with us, we would give you a full written report of everyone who'd come to see your property, verbatim written feedback and graphical pricing feedback. So you would have a very good understanding about what the buyer said and where your property sat.
I think it's really important, just to touch on what Amanda said, is that you've got to understand what the market's telling you. And I think in uncertain times, it's really hard to go in and put a number on a property. So let's see what the market's got to say first time around. If we need to use that information, at least we're actually getting people that are walking around looking at houses, telling us what their thoughts are.
Cool. So
that part one?
Yeah,
okay.
That covers off the first few questions. Then we'll move on to method of sale and advertising next time round.
All right.
But have a great week.
See ya.